Alhamdulillah wassalatu wassalam ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa ashabihi wa man wala. And before we continue with the Nawaqid-ul-Islam, sister had asked me to make a comment or to talk briefly about the student of knowledge and sleep. Thing I would say before I halfway answer is that these types of things, they're plentiful online. You can find them. So all I'm going to be doing is reiterating what they say, but maybe be able to benefit you by gathering more than one statement or something. As far as the amount of sleep a person needs, the amount of sleep a person needs, especially a student of knowledge, it's going to vary depending on their health, their age, their time that they've been seeking knowledge. It's not something you say, I'm just going to start sleeping less tonight. No, it's just like every other thing. It takes you to raise yourself on something, meaning you have to start off, reducing a few minutes and reducing a few minutes and reducing a few minutes until you get to the point that you want. Ibn Qayyim, rahimahullah, a lot of people think that a student of knowledge just sleeps an hour a day or something. He sleeps 2 hours. And I know one sheikh, he sleeps about 3 hours a week. But he's been seeking knowledge since he's 6 or 7 years old. And he's 47, 48 years old now, and he's been doing it for 40 years. And so it's easy for him. But he's trained on that. And I know some strong students of knowledge who sleep 8 hours. Because that's what they need, that's what they need. And so there's a difference about what you have to do, what your body needs, as well as what your mind needs. You have to sleep the amount that your mind needs for remembering and concentrating on the subjects. And so some of the important things is to not stay up after Isha except for one of 3 things. Don't stay up after Salatul Isha except for one of 3 things. Either playing with the family, right? Or hosting guests. And that doesn't mean guests from your city. It doesn't mean a brother or sister comes to visit you from your masjid or something like that. No, doesn't mean that. It means guests outside. The guests from your city, they can go home. The guests from, you live in Tennessee and they came from Ohio, then those people don't have a place to sleep, right? Those people you haven't seen in a long time or something, then you can do it. And the third one is the dhikr of Allah, which includes seeking knowledge, right? Salat, reading Quran, seeking knowledge, making dhikr, regular dhikr, like that, subhanallah, alhamdulillah, Allahu Akbar. Then don't sleep, or don't stay up after Isha except for these 3 things. Don't stay up for TV, don't stay up for the news, don't stay up for playing games, right? Don't be hanging out in the mall, but rather after Isha, then go to sleep. Another thing is what I found beneficial in my own self is a lecture. There was by a small piece of a lecture that is on the internet, but it's only in Arabic, by Sheikh Abdul Razak al-Badr. It's about 7 minutes where he talks about the benefit or the way of Salaf in staying up after Fajr. That from Fajr until after the sun rises, right? Until after the sun rises, meaning when it's permissible for you to make Salat again. From this time to that time, you should not sleep. So you don't pray Fajr and then go back to sleep. You wait until that 7:15 or 7:20 or 6:15, 6:20, depending on wherever you're at, what time of the year it is, before you get some rest. And they said that the Salaf, even if they had stayed up all night and sleep, even if they had stayed up all night traveling and were dead tired, when they made Fajr, they would not go to sleep. They would not go to sleep until the sun rose and that 10 or 15 minute period where you cannot make salat passed by. Once you did that, then you could go to sleep. And he brings an example of Ibn Mas'ud that some people came to his house after the Fajr time, and he told them to come in, and they stayed outside for a long time. Then eventually they came in, closer to Duha time. And he asked them why they stayed outside so long. They said, because we felt maybe someone from the household was still sleeping and not dressed and ready. So we just stayed outside. He said, do you think someone from the family of Ibn Mas'ud is from the ghafilin, from those who are, forgetful of Allah? Meaning those who sleep during this time are from the ghafilin. Those who sleep during the time of between Fajr and Duha are from the ghafilin. And then he kept sending his slave girl outside to see if the sun had risen. Right? And when she came back and yes, it has risen. It has risen to the point where they could pray again like this. Then he said, Alhamdulillah, the one who has not caused us to lose our day. And the Sheikh goes and he says, for instance, right now in Kuwait, Fajr is at 5:20. So sunrise is around 6:40. So you could make duha around 6:55 or 7. So he said, look at this time, 7 a.m. And he already said, we didn't lose our day. We took care of our day. How much of the day is left? Most of the day is left. Most of the day is left. But Ibn Mas'ud radiallahu anhu considered this to be the most important part of the day. And if you met that part of the day, that hour of the day, if you caught it in remembrance of Allah and in being awake, then you caught the day. And after that, you could go to sleep or do what you needed to do. Right? Seek your worldly needs like this. So from that time, I have not went to sleep except maybe once at this time, between this time here. And I've found that my life changed completely as far as how my day is. As the Prophet ﷺ, he told us that the barakah of his ummah is in the bukuriha, is in the earliest part of the day. So if you can stay up during this time, it's going to give you an energy that you don't have if you were to go to sleep and get 8 hours or like this. So the amount of sleep you need is going to be different according to every person, right? 8 hours recommended by the doctors is not far off according to Ibn al-Qayyim's speech in the Tibb al-Nabawi. Although it may not be an 8-hour block. It might be 6 hours at night and 2 hours or an hour in the daytime. So can Salat al-Duha be prayed right before Dhuhr time? 15 to 20 minutes or 10 to 15 minutes before Dhuhr, you cannot pray. If the Dhuhr is here, you have up until, say, 1 o'clock. You have up until 12:45, 12:50 to pray. After that 12:45, 12:50, you cannot pray. You need to be finished by this time. Allah knows best. When the sun is in the middle, when the sun is rising, start rising. When the sun is rising, when it's setting, and when it's directly in the middle. It's not permissible to pray during those 3 times. So just go to sleep. And the more you learn, the more you put in effort, the more you have on your mind from beneficial knowledge, the less sleep you're going to need. The more you're going to be focusing on it, and you're going to need sleep. As Ibn Baz, rahimahullah, he only slept a couple hours every night, and he was 80-something, right, and very busy. He was 80-something and very busy. He only slept a few hours, maybe 2 hours. And one of the people asked him, and this is the best answer that I've ever heard, when the people asked him, how can you do that? There's people who are way younger than you who don't do half as much as you do, and yet they sleep a lot. How can you do that? He said something very important. He said, when the soul is at work, the body doesn't feel the pain. When the soul is at work, the body doesn't feel the pain. When you begin to taste and love this knowledge, and your mind is working with it, and you're working with it for the sake of Allah, then your sleep is going to be reduced automatically, accordingly, and Allah knows best. We reached the 10th naqid, al-naqid al-ashir. Al-naqid al-ashir. Al-i'radu an dinillah. لا يتعلمه ولا يعمل به والدليل قوله تعالى ومن أظلم ممن ذكر بآيات ربه فأعرض عنها. Right? If I'm saying it right, if I remember it right. نعم. ومن أظلم ممن ذكر بآيات ربه ثم أعرض عنها إنا من المجرمين منتقمون. We'll get there inshallah. It's on the next page. We'll finish this and then we'll go down. Al-Naqid al-Ashir, the 10th Naqid. Now, we can count with cardinal numbers from 1 to 10. We can count with cardinal numbers from 1 to 10. We say Al-Awwal, Al-Thani, الثالث الرابع الخامس. Then we say السادس السابع الثامن التاسع العاشر. This is 1 through 10, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th. Right? You don't have to write it down. They're written in the book for you. You just have to memorize them. Al-i'rad an dinillah. I'rad is from arada, the same word that we have for ird, for honor, but it's a different form. Here, al-i'rad means to turn away. Al-i'rad is to turn away. Al-i'rad an dinillah, to turn away from the religion of Allah. How does someone turn away from the religion of Allah? Well, they could say, I'm not a Muslim anymore. That's easy and clear. But here it's different. Al-i'rad an dinillah, to turn away from the religion of Allah. لا يتعلمه ولا يعمل به. He doesn't learn it and he doesn't act upon it. يتعلم is from, the root would be ilm, alima, right? We have alima, one, to know. Alima ya'lamu. Ya'lamu. We have form 2. Allama. Or that's form 3, I'm sorry. Form 3. Allama yu'allimu. No, I'm sorry. I apologize again. One more mistake. It is form 2. I don't know why I skipped to form 3. Yu'allimu. Allama yu'allim. This one is to know. Form 2 is to teach, or to make someone know, which is to teach. Right? Then here we have form 5, ta'allama, ta'allama, yata'allamu, yata'allamu, which means to learn. right? To learn. So ta'allama here, la yata'allamuhu, who refers to the religion of Allah, Deenullah. La yata'allamuhu, he doesn't learn it. He doesn't learn the religion of Allah. Wa la ya'malu bih, from amila ya'malu, he doesn't act on it. So this is how a person can turn away from religion. Amr, do you have a headset? Type in here. Assalamu alaikum, akhi. You gotta have a headset, otherwise there's too much feedback. La yata'allamuhu wa la ya'malu bih. He doesn't learn it and he doesn't act upon it. So a person can say, I'm a Muslim, I don't need to learn the correct aqidah, I don't need to learn the arkan of salat and the wajibat, I don't need to learn all that stuff. I'm a Muslim, you don't have to tell me all that stuff, I'm already a Muslim, I'm not a kafir. And then they turn away from the religion by not learning it and by not acting on it. If you have a headset and it's microphone and headphones, then I can release your microphone, Amir. But if it doesn't have it, then as soon as I opened your mic earlier, I had a lot of feedback. وَالدَّلِيلُ قَوْلُهُ تَعَالَى, and the evidence is his statement, the Most High. وَمَنْ أَظْلَمُ مِمَّنْ ذُكِّرَ بِآيَاتِ رَبِّهِ ثُمَّ أَعْرَضَ عَنْهَا إِنَّا مِنَ الْمُجْرِمِينَ مُنْتَقِمُونَ. The evidence is you obviously don't have a headset in, akhi, because it's blasting back into the speakers for us. Something is not plugged in or something. So the ayah says, وَمَنْ أَظْلَمُ مِمَّنْ, and who, wa is and, man is who, أَظْلَمُ, from dhulm, right? ظَلَمَ, أَظْلَمُ would be more wrongdoing. More wrongdoing. Who is more wrongdoing? Mimman. Mimman is min plus ma, man. But they just get rid of this noon here and put a shadda on the meme. Mimman. Who is more wrongdoing than? We said whenever we have superlative form of something, like we had akmalu min, we had ahsanu min, now we have azlamu min. We say whenever that happens, even though min means from normally, whenever we have the superlative more complete or better or more wrongdoing, this min is going to be then. More complete than something, better than something, more wrongdoing than something. So وَمَنْ أَظْلَمُ مِمَّنْ, who is more wrongdoing than the one? Man is then who? Or we'll say the one, or then who? Dhukira. Dhukira is the passive, which is majhul, of dhakara. So just like we have here, form 1 is dhakara, to remember. Dhakara. Form 2 is to make someone remember. So to make someone remember is what? No, to make someone remember. No, I want an English word. What would be? I make someone remember. What do I do to them?
Remind.
I remind them. Naam. So dhakara is to remember on your own, like dhakartu, I remembered. But dhakartu, right? Okay, let me write that sentence. Dhakartu Muharram. Right? Dhakartu Muharraman. I remembered Muharram. But if I say, and you were right, Muharram, when you said tadhakkara, but we're focusing on this part right here, right? Dhakartu Muharram. Meaning, when I put this shadda here, I reminded Muharram. The first one, I remembered Muharram. I was sitting and I remembered I'm supposed to send him an email. Dhakartu Muharram. I thought about Muharram. I remembered Muharram. Dhakartu Muharram, here with shadda, dhakartu means I reminded Muharram. Right? So, dhukira here is passive. The way it has the dhamma there is going to be passive. Meaning, not he reminded, but he was reminded. Dhukira. So, وَمَنْ أَظْلَمُ مِمَّنْ ذُكِّرَ بِآيَاتِ رَبِّهِ. Who is more wrongdoing than the one, or than who? Dhukira is reminded بِآيَاتِ رَبِّهِ, with the ayat of his Lord. Ayati Rabbihi, the ayat of his Lord. ثُمَّ أَعْرَضَ عَنْهَا, and then he turns away from them, form 4. Right? أَعْرَضَ, form 4. He turns away from them. Who is more wrongdoing than the one who is reminded of the ayat of his Lord, and then he turns away from them. Inna, verily we, min al-mujrimeen, from the mujrimeen, the wrongdoers, the sinners, the criminals. Mujrim from jarama, which is like a crime. Right? Mujrimeen. Verily we are from the mujrimeen, muntaqimun. You remember what that is, Abdullah?
Avengers.
Yeah, Avengers. Like the movie. If you see the movie Avengers in Arabic, they're going to say Al-Muntaqimun. Right? Right? Muntaqim is an avenger. Muntaqim, Muntaqimun, Avengers. Verily we are, this from Noon, Qaf, Mim. To avenge. Right? So the Nawaqid-ul-Ashir is الإعراض عن دين الله لا يتعلمه ولا يعمل به. To turn away from the religion of Allah, he doesn't act on it, or he does not learn it, nor does he act upon it. وَالدَّلِيلُ قَوْلُهُ تَعَالَى, and the dalil is his statement, the Most High. وَمَنْ أَظْلَمُ مِمَّنْ ذُكِّرَ بِآيَاتِ رَبِّهِ ثُمَّ أَعْرَضَ عَنْهَا إِنَّا مِنَ الْمُجْرِمِينَ مُنْتَقِمُونَ. And who is more wrong than one who is reminded of the ayat of his Lord, and then he turns away from them. Verily we are avengers over the criminals or wrongdoers like this. Any questions about this? Okay, read it for us, Abdullah. This ayat is ayat number 22 from Surah Al-Sajda. 22 from Surah Al-Sajda.
Nawaqid-ul-Ashir. Al-Ihradu an dinillah la yata'allamuhu wa la ya'malu bih. Wa dalilu qawluhu ta'ala. ومن أسلم مما ذكر بآيات ربه ثم أعرض عنها إنا من المجرمين منتقمون.
نعم يلا يا محرم.
الناقد الإعراض عن دين الله لا يتعلمه ولا يعمل به، والدليل قوله تعالى: ومن أظلم ممن ذكر بآيات ربه ثم أعرض عنها إنا من المجرمين منتقمون.
نعم. أبو طاهر.
العاشر الإراد عن دين الله تعالى لا يتعلمه ولا يعمل به، وقوله تعالى: ومن أظلم ممن ذكر بآيات ربه ثم أعرض عنها إن من المجرمين منتقمون.
No. I'm gonna let your mic off, man. But if it's feedback, then we can't do it. And you just tell us what kind of device you have, and maybe one of the brothers is using something similar, and he can maybe tell you how to set it up or something. Let's see. I'm gonna let your mic off. Takes a second, y'all.
Yeah, that's for you. Now I'll give it to you.
Okay.
You there?
All right. Yeah.
Please,
Can you hear
what kind
me?
of headphones you using?
You said what type of headphone?
Yeah.
Oh, what about now? It's hooked up.
I don't hear my voice feeding back now. Yeah.
Okay.
You want to read this Nawaqid for us? You want to read this paragraph for us?
من أظلم ممن ذكر بآيات ربه ثم أعرض عنها إن من المجرمين منتقمون.
نعم. No. Then the Sheikh says after these 10, because if you remember he said in the beginning there are 10. So now he says وَلَا فَرْقْ فِي جَمِيعِ هَذِهِ نَوَاقِدْ ولا فرق في جميع هذه النواقض بين الهازل والجاد والخائف إلا المكره. لا فرق. Farq is from فرق يفرق, to be different, to have a difference or separation, right? ولا فرق. There is no difference. في جميع هذه النواقض. جميع from جماعة, but it means, which means to gather. So here جميع means all. Another word we know in Arabic for جميع is what? A synonym in Arabic that we know for جميع is what?
Gather. Yeah, kind of say.
In Arabic.
اجتمع.
Another word.
Ijma.
كله.
Oh.
Right? ولا فرق في كل هذه النواقض. No, there's no difference في كل هذه أو في جميع هذه النواقض. There's no difference between these nawaqid. There's no difference between them. Not that some take you out and some don't, or some are mine or some are made. No, all of them on the same level. لا فرق في جميع هذه النواقض. And then he clarifies even more. No difference in all of these nawaqid. بين الهازل والجاد والخائف. Between the one who is hazil, from hazala, right? Meaning to joke. Between the one joking, والجاد, and serious, والخائف, and fearful. So the one who does it jokingly, hazil, the joking person who does this as a joke, he falls into these 10. Or he does it seriously, or he does it fearfully. He's scared, so he does them. No difference between them. They take him out of Islam. Illa al-mukrah. Illa al-mukrah. Al-mukrah is the one who is forced or compelled. Well, the question becomes, mukrah, we have what is the difference between someone who's forced and someone who's scared? Oh, someone who's scared. He says, I think, man, if I do this or I don't do that, I'm gonna lose my job. I think if I grow my beard, whatever. Even though growing your beard is not from the Nawaqid, I'm just giving an example. I think if I grow my beard, then I'm going to lose my job. That's fearful. Forced is your boss calls you into the office and says, if you don't cut your beard, you're going to get fired. That's forced. Now, this is a different issue, but we're just talking about what's the difference between fear and forced. Fear is where you imagine something happening. I think if I don't, let's look at one of the Nawaqid. I think that if I'm in the airport about to travel, and I think that if I answer the questions of the security in a certain way, they may do this. That's fear. But then if they actually come and they do something to you or threaten you with something, then this is force. It's different. Fear is an imaginary or something that is in your head and you're not sure if it's going to happen, whereas the mukrah, the one who is forced, he has actually been confronted with the actual punishment. So Imam Ahmed, I can't remember the scholar's name. I want to say it's Yahya ibn Ma'in, but I'm not sure. One of the scholars had succumbed during the time of Imam Ahmed to the fitna of the Quran. And they said that the Quran was created out of fear of being killed, as so many people before were killed. When Imam Ahmed was released from prison eventually after the fitna, and they were there, he didn't want to talk to them or look at them. And they said, but they were going to kill us. They were going to do this and that if we didn't do it. He said, man, all you did was see the whip and you gave in. You just saw the whip and you gave in. You weren't hit. Nothing happened to you. You just saw the whip and you gave in. So he didn't want to be around them. So the point is, al-khawf is an imaginary fear or something that you see but is not necessarily imminent, whereas al-mukrah is an imminent fear, something which you know is there and it cannot be avoided. لا فرق في جميع هذه النواقض. There's no difference in all of these nawaqid. بين الهازل والجاد والخائف. If you do them jokingly or seriously or fearfully. The actual translation would be between the one joking or serious or fearful, the person. It's a fa'il. If you look at all of them, they're a fa'il. We have hazil, waljad, hazil, right? It's on the same form. Khaif. Jad is a little different, but that's only because of the shadda here, right? So they're on the wazn of fa'il, meaning the doer. So there's no difference. لا فرق في جميع هذه النواقد بين الهازل والجاد والخائف إلى المكره, except the one who is forced or compelled. Any questions about that paragraph? وكلها من أعظم ما يكون خطرا ومن أكثر ما يكون وقوعا فينبغي للمسلم أن يحذرها ويخاف منها على نفسه. This paragraph clarifies a lot of stuff for us, which we said in the first day when we introduced the class. وَكُلُّهَا, what's another word for كُلُّهَا? How can we change this كُلُّهَا? How can we rephrase it?
الجميع.
وَجَمِيعُهَا. Now, وَجَمِيعُهَا. Right? مِنْ أَعْظَمِ مَا يَكُونُ خَطَرًا. And all of them are from min a'zam. They're from the a'zam, from azim, but it's a superlative. Azim means great or tremendous. A'zam would be even more so. They're from the greatest or the most tremendous. Ma is what? Yakunu is the verb to be or is, right? Khatara. Then these, all of these are from the greatest of what is khatara. Khatara means dangerous. Khatara, dangerous. So basically, this, we went over this before, for those who've been in this before, the word order in Arabic is not going to be the word order in English. In Arabic, it makes complete sense, but in English, if you say, and all of them are from the greatest of what is dangerous, that doesn't sound good in English. So basically, these are from the greatest, and all of these are from the greatest of what is or takes place. So what does that show you? When you say min a'zam, it shows us that there could be more than 10. But these are the 10 most important, which we talked about in the beginning. That there are more than 10, but that these are the most important, or that the ones that are more than 10 are subcategories of these 10. But these 10 are from the most severe and danger. These are from the most dangerous nullifiers. وَمِنْ أَكْثَرِ مَا يَكُونُ وُقُوعًا. Here we have this superlative again, أكثر. And from the most, ما يكون وقوعا. وقوعا from وقع, meaning to happen or take place. So these are the ones that take place the most. There are other nullifiers. For example, Sheikh Abdul Muslim al-Qasim will tell us when we get to his explanation, whoever disbelieves in the angels, they disbelieve in the angels. That's not in any of these 10. Disbelief in the angels, disbelief in the hellfire, Jannah wa Nar, is not in any of these 10. Right? But it is a nullifier. Someone says, I don't believe in the angels, he becomes a kafir if you provide the evidence for him. But these are the most of what take place, the most dangerous and the most common occurring. فَيَنْبَغِي. يَنْبَغِي, this word means different things according to who says it. It means appropriate. That's the meaning of it. ينبغي is appropriate. Like, is it appropriate for right now everyone's at home on their computer, right? They could be in a room by themselves, away from everybody else studying, kicking the family away, let me study. Is it appropriate to sit in the class in your boxer shorts with no t-shirt on, studying Nawaqid-ul-Islam? No. Is it haram? No. But is it appropriate to be in class in your boxer shorts or something like that? No, it's not appropriate, right? But some scholars use it when they want to say it's haram, but they say it on a lesser level. They don't say, or they'll say appropriate meaning obligatory. It is appropriate, it's obligatory. It's not appropriate, it's haram, right? Here this yambaghi, it's appropriate lil Muslim, for the Muslim, and yahdaraha, hadara, yahdaraha, to be careful and to be warned against something. So to be careful from them. Wa yakhafa minha, and to be fearful of them. Ala nafsihi, on himself. So here yambaghi here means obligatory. Yajib. It doesn't mean it's recommended for the Muslim to be fearful and to be on caution against them. No. It's obligatory lil Muslim and yahdaraha wa yakhafa minha, to be cautious of them and to fear from them. Ala nafsihi, for himself. This is the other part that we want to focus on. This is for ourselves. First we learn, and then we act, and then way later on we can start criticizing others. But until we learn, until we act, until we achieve a lot of knowledge, those people who are able to apply rulings to others, they're judges, they're ulama, right? They're people who are scholars that can write these things. Those people who can do it ala ghayrihi. But ala nafsihi, this, we learn this book for ourselves, not so that we can go around picking people off, right? وَكُلُّهَا مِنْ أَعْظَمِ مَا يَكُونُ خَطَرًا. I'll translate it the way it is and then make a good sentence, inshallah. And all of them are from the greatest of what takes place of dangerous to them. مِنْ أَكْثَرِ مَا يَكُونُ وُقُوعًا. And they're from the most of what takes place of occurrence, or they're the most occurring. So كلها من أعظم ما يكون خطرا. All of them are from the most dangerous of nawaqid and from the most occurring of them. فينبغي, so it is befitting or appropriate, rather it is obligatory, lil Muslim, for the Muslim, and yahdaraha, to be cautious of them. وَيَخَافَ مِنْهَا, and to be fearful of them. عَلَى نَفْسِهِ. Any questions?
لا.
نعوذ بالله من موجبات غضبه وعليم عقابه وصلى الله على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. Na'udhu is just like A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, except Na'udhu is we seek refuge. Billah, in Allah. Min mujibat ghadabi. Mujibat is the plural of mujibah. Just put a ta marbuta. Mujibah. From wajaba. Right? Meaning like obligatory. But mujibah is something which requires. Like wajib is something which is required. Mujib or mujibah is something which will bring with it necessarily something else. So something, if you do something, it will require something else. That's the meaning of mujibah. So if I translate it, maybe it'll become clear. Na'udhu billahi min mujibati ghadabih. We seek refuge in Allah from the things which draw or necessitate ghadabihi, his anger. Ghadab, Anger, his anger. Those things which will necessitate his anger. Those things which will draw his anger. Those things that if we do them, his anger will necessarily follow. وَعَلِيمِ إِقَابِهِ. Alim is painful or pain. Alim from alam is a hurt. Alama, it hurts. Alim is pain. Iqabihi from aqaba, meaning punishment. Iqab is punishment. Iqab is punishment. So alimi iqabihi, and from the pain or the torment, iqabihi, of his punishment. Na'udhu billahi min mujibat ghadabi. We seek refuge in Allah from those things which necessitate his anger. Wa alimi iqabihi, and from the pain or torment of his punishment. Wa sallallahu ala nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam. Any questions about that?
No.
Then here we are. Abu Tahir, if you could read for us, inshallah ta'ala. من ولا فرق في جميع هذه النواقض.
ولا فرق في جميع هذه النواقض بين الهازل والجاد والخائف إلى المقرى، وكلها من أعظم ما يكون خطرا ومن أكثر ما يكون وقوعا، فينبغي للمسلم أن يحذرها ويخاف منها على نفسه. نعوذ بالله من موجبات غضبه وعليم عقابه، وصلى الله على خير خلقه محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم.
يا محرم.
ولا فرق في جميع هذه النواقض بين الهازل والجاد والخائف إلا المكره، وكلها من أعظم ما يكون خطرا ومن أكثر ما يكون وقوعا، فينبغي للمسلم أن يحذرها ويخاف منها على نفسه. نعوذ بالله من موجبات غضبه وأليم عقابه، وصلى الله على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم.
نعم. يلا عبد الله.
ولا فقه في جميع هذه النواقض والناقض بين الهازل والجاد والخائف إلا المكره، وكلها من أحسن ما يكون خطرا ومن أكثر ما يكون وقوعا، فينبغي للمسلم أن يحذرها ويخاف منها على نفسه. نعوذ بالله من موجبات غضبه وأليم عقابه، وصلى الله على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم.
No. Just one quick question. One quick comment. This yambaghi is form 7 of bagha, right? Bagha means to seek or desire, but when it comes in form 7, yambaghi, then it means to be appropriate or proper, right? Or to deem it necessary, right? So with that, we complete Nawaqid-ul-Islam. I just have one comment and quickly announcing the class is going to take place on Friday night, you guys' time. which instead of doing Nawaqid-ul-Islam, instead of doing Matun Talib al-Ilm, we're going to have a conversational class. The same thing will happen. The brothers have more open mics. The sisters can listen in and benefit. If they want to write in a question, how do you say this or how do you say that, then the brother will assist you. The brother who's going to do it is a brother named Suleiman Al-Abdul Jalil, who is a Kuwaiti brother, graduated from Qura, strong student of knowledge. He speaks English as well, very good, or very well. And but he's going to have the class basically in in Arabic, to try to get people used to talking about and thinking in Arabic. And just a comment I want to make is this is an important class, even though reading is available. I had my teacher when I was in the Kuwait University Arabic program, which I remind everyone is a very weak program. It's a one-year program and it's very weak. But my teacher, I did learn some things there, alhamdulillah. One of the teachers gave me a 4-3-2-1. Somebody asked him how much he needed to study every day to learn. And he said you need 10 hours a day if you want to learn another language. If you really want to learn another language, you need 10 hours a day. And so I'm going to give you this formula, and then you can break it down in different. But if you add these 4-3-2-1, it becomes 10 hours, right? 4 hours a day of reading, right? 3 hours a day of listening. 2 hours a day of conversating. And 1 hour a day of writing. Not just writing down the text, although that's good, but also summarizing and re-putting it in your words, changing it up, seeing what you could do, whatever. All of that is included. Now that's 10 hours. Most of us are working and have families. We can't necessarily put 10 hours in a day. So then you just have to reduce it, but use the same formula. So for instance, let's say we got 5 hours, right? And you make this 2, make this 1.5, you make this 1, and you make this a half. That's 5 hours. I don't have 5 hours. Let's reduce that even still. Let's reduce that in half, right? We say 1 hour of reading, 45 minutes of listening, half hour conversation, and 15 minutes of writing. Now I'm at 2.5 hours. Some of this listening can be done in the car, 45 minutes in the car on the way back and forth. 45 minutes listening can be done while doing laundry or cooking dinner, right? That type of thing. Although sitting down and concentrated listening is going to be better. Writing and all this. So 2.5 hours, I would say that's probably the minimum. But if you don't have that, then break it down to what you do have, right? Break it down to what you do have. Everything in Arabic. Yes, reading in Arabic, listening in Arabic, conversation in Arabic, writing. Now when you're reading, if you don't understand a word, look up 1 or 2 of them. Don't look up every single one of them, but look up some of them, the ones you think were the most important to the text, the ones that kept appearing over and over. That could be part of your hour or 4 hours or 2 hours. Listening, the same thing. Pull out your dictionary and do so. Conversation, you know, like this. Anyway, you could break it down to a number of, you could break it down even further to 30 minutes of reading and, you know, what is this, 27 minutes? Something like that, right? What is it? 1 hour. 25?
27.5.
Yeah, 27.5. Yeah, whatever. 27.5. Then here would be 15. Huh?
22.
No, 22.5. 22.5, right. 22.5, 15, and then 7.5. That's going to give you an hour and 15 minutes. You know? But you got more than that. You sit in this class for an hour every day. Conversation skills, I'm gonna work with Suleiman to see what we can come up with. I have a good program one brother was doing in Egypt. I just need to come up with a good script for it. But until then, Saturdays, Suleiman is going to help us out, right, with conversation. But this is a program. I think we need to scrap this final column and say, let's work on this one, you know. 2.5 hours, man. You're driving around. You can listen, conversate. You know, it's 30 minutes. There's not much writing down. Oh, my gosh.